Good afternoon and welcome to the Joint Committees on Education and Committee on Agriculture and Environment. This meeting, including the audio and video of remote participants, is being streamed live on YouTube. You will find links to viewing options for all Senate meetings on the live and on-demand video page of the legislature's website. This Zoom meeting and YouTube live stream event will include the 3:00 p.m. joint agenda for the Committee on Education and the Committee on Agriculture and Environment, the 3:10 joint agenda for the Committee on Education and the Committee on Hawaiian Affairs, the 3:15 joint agenda for the Committee on Education and the Committee on Higher Education, and the 3:20 and 3:21 p.m. agendas for the Committee on Education. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to major technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on Monday, March 22nd, 2021, and a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. I'd like to take this time to remind our testifiers that due to time restrictions on our hearings, we will be limiting testimony to 1 minute per testifier per bill. For the people participating remotely, all testifier audio will be muted and video disabled until shortly before it is your turn to testify. When I call your name, staff will unmute you and your time will begin. After your 1 minute is completed, staff will mute you so that we can move this hearing along in an orderly and efficient manner. Thank you. So, our 3:00 agenda, jointly with Committee on Agriculture and Environment, we have one item, House Bill 767 HD2, relating to the Farm School Program, moves the Hawaii Farm to School Program from the Department of Agriculture to the Department of Education, establishes a programmatic goal for the Department of Education that at least 30% of food served in public schools shall consist of locally sourced products by 2030, creates an annual reporting requirement. And to testify, we have Randy Tanaka, Department of Education. Randy, are you there?
Hello, Chair Kidani, members of the committee, Chair Gabbard. Thank you very much for your time. We have submitted testimony and willing to answer questions that you may have. We continue to dedicate ourselves to using more locally produced products for our students, and thank you for this opportunity. Aloha.
Thank you. Next to testify, Phyllis Shimabuku Geyser, Hawaii Department of Agriculture. I'm sorry, Board of Agriculture. Phyllis, are you there?
Good afternoon, Chairs Kidani and Gabbard. Morris Sata on behalf of the Department of Agriculture. We will stand on our testimony noting strong support for the Farm to School program and offering some comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Morris. Micah Munikata, testifying for Ulupono Initiative.
Good afternoon, Chair Kidani, Chair Gabbard, members of the committees. Micah Munikata here on behalf of the Ulupono Initiative. We will stand on our written testimony in strong support of this measure. There are some recommended amendments just to tighten up some of the goal language. We hope that you will consider making those amendments, and we do appreciate the chairs looking to streamline some of these bills. I know that there's been quite a bit of support from this legislature to move on farm to school, and we appreciate any consideration of bringing some of these bills into play. And that one in particular we're looking into is potential regional preference as far as farm to school movement going forward. Thank you very much, chairs.
Thank you, Micah. Next to testify, Brian Miyamoto for Hawaii Farm Bureau.
Good afternoon, Chairs Kidani and Gabbard, Vice Chairs Kim and Nishihara, and members of the committees. Brian Miyamoto here on behalf of the Hawaii Farm Bureau. We'll stand on a written testimony and support. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Next to testify, Lydie Burnell for Hawaii Farm to School, Hui. Lydie?
Aloha mai kākou, Lydie Bernal,
Aloha.
Hawaii Farm to School Coordinator, also representing Hawaii Public Health Institute and the Obesity Prevention Task Force, collectively over 60 organizations across the islands. We stand on our written testimony in support with the recommended amendment to maintain a program within the Hawaii Department of Agriculture as well as the Hawaii Department of Education. Thank you very much for your support of Farm to School.
Thank you, Lydie. Next to testify, John Garibaldi for Local Food Coalition.
Aloha chairs, vice chairs, and members of the committee. John Garibaldi with the Local Food Coalition. We'll stand on a written testimony, strong support, and also want to voice our support for Ulupono's amendment requesting a geographic preference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. That concludes the oral testimony. We have a number of written testimonies. Members and Chair Gabbard, do you guys have any questions for our testifiers?
Yes, Chair. I have a question for Ulupono.
Good afternoon, Chair Gabbard.
Yeah, Micah, you'd mentioned in your, one of the amendments was to add as measured by the percent of the total cost of food. Could you just elaborate on that, please?
Yes, Chair. This is just looking to, I guess, solidify some of the language around the goal. We feel that if it's sort of left open-ended, there's going to be interpretations that may not get to where Farm to School is trying to get. By establishing it as an overall percent of total food costs, you are addressing the entire meal itself and price or purchases that are made for food itself, as opposed to concentrating on one particular category, whether it's like the main dish or the side vegetables, the fresh side. When you do it a percent like that, you actually only encompass a smaller percent of the total meal. So we're looking at, making the biggest impact here. And, by our calculations with some of the pilots that have been done on Kohala, Mililani, and the island of Kauai, we do feel like the 30% can be attained.
Thank you, Micah. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any questions? Okay, if there are no further questions, we'll call the recess. Welcome back to the Joint Committee on Education and Committee on Agriculture and Environment, and we are hearing House Bill 767 HD2. The committees have discussed this, and the recommendation of the chair will be to pass House Bill 767 HD2 with amendments to remove on page 2, line 14, the words "and other institutions," as this program and position will just be for Farm to School. We'll also note in the committee report that in order to achieve the goal of 30%, the DOE should employ multiple strategies such as geographic preferences in procurement, inclusion of food hubs, and other localized strategies. Members, questions? If not, chair votes aye.
Chair votes aye on House Bill 767, House Draft 2, Senate Draft. We're going to amend it to a Senate draft.
Yes.
Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator De La Cruz is excused. Senator Kanuha.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Madam Chair, with 5 members, 1 being excused, your recommendations adopted.
Thank you. This concludes this hearing.
Wait,
I'm sorry. You mean you have an opinion? Okay. Go ahead, Chair Gabbard.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, folks, same recommendation for AEN. Any discussion? I'll go ahead and take the vote. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair Nishihara is excused. Senator Ocasio.
Aye.
Senator Rhodes.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Is that it? Is that everybody? Yeah. Okay, the measure passes. Thank you, members.
Thank you. This concludes this hearing. Okay, sorry. Thank you and welcome. This is the Committee on Education and Committee on Hawaiian Affairs for a joint committee meeting to hear House Bill 753 HD1 relating to school impact fees. To testify, we have Randy Tanaka, Department of Education. Randy, please.
Good afternoon, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Kim. Aloha. We stand by the testimony we have submitted and stand by to answer any questions if you have. Aloha.
Thank you, Randy. We have William Isla Jr. testifying for Department of Hawaiian Homelands. Mr. Isla.
Hello, Chair Kidani, Chair Shimabukuro. First of all, thank you, Chair Kidani, for scheduling this bill. We stand in strong support of this bill and believe that it will it highlights the fact that the department already houses many charter schools and is contributing to the education of our youth, and the significant savings now can be applied to the development of additional lots for awards to get beneficiaries off the wait list. So thank you very much for consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Isla. Members of Education Committee, are there any questions for these testifiers?
I have a question.
Senator Vice Chair Kim.
Mr. Isla, how much are these fees that you expect to save? I know it might be varies, but
it will likely be in the several millions of dollars because, and it depends on where development occurs. But one example is there's 160 lots in Pu'ulani Homestead on Maui. The school impact fee of $5,373 per lot times 161 lots is $865,000 and it's close to $900,000 just for one development.
okay, thank you. Question for education? Who's that here?
Randy Tanaka.
Randy? So Randy, when you folks do these impact fees, do you give any kind of credit for the whatever contributions they may make in the case of what the HSL is saying?
Senator, from what I understand, the way the impact fees were created was to help subsidize the building of new schools.
Right?
And that's the equation is based upon either land or cash contributions to the cause of building the new school. That's my degree of understanding of how the formula was created.
Okay, because
I cannot. Sorry, go ahead, Senator.
oh no, when I was on the council and we did these unilateral agreements, and when there are impact fees for affordable housing or impact fees for schools, we would look at equivalencies, if we want to call it that, or any other contributions that they might be making that would in fact lessen some of the impacts because they're making up for it in some way. So I wasn't sure if that's something that also goes on at DOE, that, you know, taking note that whoever's building the homes, if in fact they are contributing in other ways that addresses some of the issues of education, educating our the students in those areas, that the fees could be lessened or waived.
You're correct, Senator. Of recent history, what I have seen is really two factors, land or cash. Other contributions, other teacher housing is a discussion we're having with another developer right now, has not been, in recent times, added to that formula. But we are now asking for other other opportunities or assets that they may have willing to let, not necessarily cash.
Okay, that's something I think that discussion should take place, and we should be a little more flexible as we look at these impact fees.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you.
Further questions, members? Chair Shimabukuro, do your members have questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Sure, go ahead, Senator Favela.
Oh, sorry. You had something, I'll wait for you.
No, go ahead.
Yes, the only concern that I see going forward, and I understand the breakdown of the new development of Maui, but in the Kapolei region, per unit, on Hawaii, how much impact fees do you guys pay in that area? By Honolulu Middle School?
Senator Favela, I do not have that information in front of me. I can get it to you. It is likely similar to the $5,373 that was quoted from Maui, but I can get you the exact figure.
Okay. I'm just afraid if we gonna, understand we need to get a beneficiaries of homes, but if we start setting the precedence of, maybe, from any developer, other developers, and expect the same expectation as saying that we're discriminating against, Hawaiian homes development.
Oh,
I'm not sure if there's anything in the proposal to prevent that, and I'm not sure if maybe Randy, if you know if there's any provisions for that going forward.
I'm sorry, Senator, if you can repeat the question?
The question is, if we do this bill and then we waive the impact fees because we know we need to get beneficiaries on homes, the Hawaiian home developments, what will stop the other developers are asking for the same consideration going forward on their impact fees?
Senator, I expect we will get that question. But I think our relationship with DHHL and their objective and their mission to provide more homes for our community, especially the Hawaiian community, is a different perspective. Most of the things that we have gotten through the impact fee has been land. So this exemption really goes towards actually building the homes we need that DHHL has been working so hard to do going forward. The deals are not all the same, but I do expect, and I would, if I was them, I would ask, how come they got the deal and we didn't get the deal? But I think we need to take that on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you. I just figured I'd ask that now so that at least we have that on the record going forward, knowing that we're all in agreement, what is the cause and why we are working for it, so, for the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions from members of Hawaiian Affairs?
Excuse me, Chair.
Yes.
Chair Kidani, if I may add a comment to that last question,
Another follow-up.
or Chair Shimabukuro.
Sure.
Who's speaking?
Okay, so it's not that the department isn't contributing. The department has contributed for many years in giving gratis leases to numerous charter schools on DHHL land. So the department has been, in a sense, contributing to education and to facilities of the DOE, because charter schools are part of the DOE. And I just wanted to make that clear, that it's not a free lunch. We are contributing to the education of public school students through the charter schools.
Thank you for clarifying that important information.
Follow-up, Madam Chair.
Senator Kim has a follow-up.
Again, so Randy, wouldn't it be a lot fair in the sense that there's some kind of a metrics which would consider other types of contributions and how that relates? Because, you know, providing leases on land for charter schools may be more than what you're asking for, the $5,000, or it could be less, right? And as far as what kind of credits a developer would get, and we want to try to, I mean, yes, we want to make sure that there is homes for our Hawaiian population, but we want to make sure there's homes for everybody that lives here, right? So the developer, any developer can claim, well, if I don't have to give you land, I could build more houses on that land, and therefore have more homes. So if, you know, if that's going to be the argument, or one of the arguments, then we need to have something that is systematic, applies to everybody, so we don't get into a discrimination lawsuit of any kind. And so I think it's imperative that DOE does that, and that these kinds of exceptions are not actually put into this measure, but you folks have it, and that they can receive a credit. And they might receive more of a credit that could be applied to another parcel, because that's how we do it in the city, so, or we used to do it in the city.
You are absolutely correct. And my predecessors had begun that thought but didn't formalize it. We are in the process of formalizing and creating a metric, so we're all on the same page when this occurs. And there will be a continuum of development, especially in the Kapolei area going forward. So our plan by design will be to give those elements some weighting towards how the impact fee is measured. Currently, it's primarily in terms of land or cash, but we will work on that, absolutely.
Okay, well, it's just troubling that it's not part of your testimony, and this is not something that, you know, you're informing us and taking a stronger active lead on it, so that would prevent these kinds of legislation that will continually exempt one group of people versus another. So,
Understood.
Thank you.
Point well taken, thank you.
Is it Senator Casio?
Yeah, Chair, thank you. I have a question. Just thinking, are there any other state-funded agencies that act as a pass-through for these impact fees?
Senator, not that I am aware of. Not that I am aware of.
I think too that, I just wanted to make a note that as we see more and more multi-generational families coming into developed housing already, and I see that a lot in Mililani, our schools are becoming overcrowded, and there's more of a need to build more buildings or, you know, double-deck or buildings, and that there's no impact fee at all coming in. So it does put a big burden on the state as well as the Department of Education to figure out how we can do this and have the correct schools, amount of classrooms that we need for our students. So that is a problem also. If there are no further questions, then we'll go into recess. Welcome back to the Joint Committees on Education and Hawaiian Affairs. We have deliberated on House Bill 753 HD1 relating to school impact fees. The recommendation of this chair is to pass this House bill with amendments. The amendment is to insert a sunset date on the exemption for DHHL properties for 3 years. Also inserting language that will expand the eligible uses of school impact fees similar to what is found in Part 2 of Senate Bill 468. Members, questions? If not, chair votes aye.
Chair votes aye on House Bill 753 with amendments. Vice Chair votes with reservations. Senator De La Cruz is excused. Senator Kanuha.
Aye.
Senator Favela. Senator Favela.
You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, reservations?
Okay, reservation. Madam Chair, 4 members present. Your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. Chair Shimabukuro.
Thank you, Hawaiian Affairs, same recommendation. The Vice Chair Keohana Kalole are able to take the vote. I don't know, maybe he's not present. I can take the vote. Okay, so.
He's there, Miley, I see him.
Oh, okay. Okay, Vice Chair Keohana Kalole, are you able to take the vote, please?
Can you hear me
I think
now?
Yeah, okay, yes.
Yes.
Okay. HB 753 HD1 passing with amendments. Chair Shimabukuro.
Aye.
Vice Chair goes aye. Senator Ocasio.
Aye.
Ihara is excused. Senator Favela.
Reservations?
Chair recommendation adopted.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you for joining us. This is the Joint Committee on Education and Committee on Higher Education. We are here to hear Senate Concurrent Resolution 9 and Senate Resolution 8, convening a task force to address implementation of Hawaii state law corollary to Title IX in light of recent changes to federal Title IX regulations. To testify, Beth Schimmelfenning for DOE and OTM admin. Beth?
Aloha, my name is Beth Schimmelfennig. I'm the Director for Civil Rights Compliance Branch of the Office of Talent Management. I'm here testifying on behalf of Dr. Christina Kishimoto. Thank you for this opportunity. We stand on our written testimony in support. Thank you.
Thank you. Testifying next is Jennifer Rose for the University of Hawaii. Jennifer?
Good afternoon, Chairs Kidani and Mercado Kim and members of the committees. I am here on behalf of Vice President Gobea and Okinaga. We stand in support of this resolution and have provided some comments. I'll be available for questions if you have it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next to testify, Yongi Overly for AAUW of Hawaii. Yongi, please.
Good afternoon, Chair Sidani and Chair Ricardo Kim and members of the committee. My name is Yongi Overly. I'm the Public Policy Chair for AAUW of Hawaii. We stand on our written testimony in strong support. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Next to testify, Nora Gallo, testifying for the Every Voice Coalition.
Hi, Madam Chair, they're not present.
Thank you. Next to testify, Anna Chua, individual. Anna?
Good afternoon, chairs, vice chairs, and members of the committee. My name is Anna, and I'm a student at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. I stand by my written testimony in support of SCR 9. I just want to quickly say that I really believe that this resolution and this task force would move forward the movement to prevent rape culture from advancing on college campuses. And I think it helps us to move beyond being reactionary and instead push to uproot many sources of sexual and gender-based violence on college campuses like UH. Thank you for the opportunity to support today.
Thank you. We have no further testifiers. We do have several written testimony also. Members, are there any questions for our testifiers? None? Senator Kim, you have any questions?
Good. Yep, should we go to next?
Hmm?
You want to go to the next one? Because I
Yeah.
have the lead on it.
Okay.
Okay, we are, since there are no questions, we are going to move into the next item on the agenda, which is joint again with higher education and education. And for those of you just joining in, this meeting, including the audio and video of remote participants, is being streamed on live on YouTube. And in the event that we are abruptly interrupted due to technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on Tuesday, March 23 at 3 p.m. and a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. SCR 89, this is urging the University of Hawaii Systems and Department of Education to include training, courses, and curriculum related to the mechanics, repair, and maintenance of electrical vehicles, hydrogen vehicles, and other alternative fuel vehicles in their programs. It's just an SCR. We don't have an SR on this? Okay, just SCR. First to testify, Scott Glenn from the Hawaii State Energy Office in support.
Aloha, this is Kirsten Baumgart Turner. I'm here for Scott Glenn in the Hawaii State Energy Office.
Thank you, Kirsten. Please proceed.
Thank you. Chairs Mercado, Kim, and Kidani, and members of the committee. The Hawaii State Energy Office supports this resolution. We acknowledge that programs to prepare and train the workforce to participate in the growing alternative fuels vehicles sector are needed to support the continued successful adoption and operation of these new technologies. And we acknowledge the work that the University of Hawaii is doing and feel that this is supportive of their continuing efforts in that direction. So we appreciate the opportunity to testify. Mahalo.
Thank you, Kristen. Erica LaCroix from the University of Hawaii Community Colleges. Comments, June Chi from Hawaiian Electric.
Good afternoon, chairs, vice chairs, and committee members. My name is June Chi with Hawaiian Electric. We stand on our written testimony in support of this resolution and also provide suggested amendments for consideration to also include courses, curriculum, and training for electric vehicle supply equipment or EV charging stations in addition to electric vehicle maintenance. Thank you for this opportunity to testify.
Thank you very much. We don't have anyone else here on Zoom to testify. We have gotten written testimony from about 9 other individuals, all in support. Any questions? Members of HRE or Education Committee, any questions?
No.
Hearing that, did you want to go into breakout or just go into decision making?
I don't have any questions. We can go into decision making.
Okay, why don't we go into decision making? You want to start off with the first one, SCR 9 and SR 8? Senator Kidani?
Oh, okay. So for SCR 9 and SR 8, the recommendation of the chair is to the Chair of Education is to pass with amendments, inserting the amendments to match this to the amendments made in HCR 12 HD1. Forgot what that amendment was.
Okay, SCR 8 and SCR 9?
Yeah, so
Yes.
SCR 8 and SR 8 and SCR 9. It's Friday, I'm sorry.
Pass with amendments.
To pass with amendments.
Okay.
Chair votes aye.
Okay, we're going to take the 2 resolutions together, SR 8, SCR 9, to pass with amendments. The chair is voting aye. The vice chair will be voting aye. Senator De La Cruz.
Aye.
Senator Kanuha,
Aye.
and Senator Favela.
Aye.
It's a Friday afternoon, guys. With 5 members all present, all voting in affirmative, your recommendation for both resolutions is adopted. Okay, for the SCR 89, urging the, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry.
Okay, for higher ed.
You got it.
I have it.
Okay, you got it.
Aye.
That's why we don't usually have hearings in the afternoon on
Okay, you know
Friday.
what? You guys are acting like too many people within the UH and DOE system.
No comment.
Okay.
Okay. So recommendation for the Committee on Higher Education to pass with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Agaran, excuse. Senator Wakai, excuse. Senator Favela.
Aye.
Measures adopted, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. So going on to now SCR 89, the recommendation is to pass as is. That was simple, right? Here's the.
Yes,
I don't know if that's the-
I have.
Okay.
And you got it. Wait.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. So recommendation for SCR 89, recommendation is to pass unamended. Chair votes aye. Madam Chair, you vote aye?
I voted aye, yes.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Algaran, excuse. Senator Wakai, excuse. Senator Favela.
Aye.
Measures adopted, Madam Chair.
Okay. Now it's your turn.
Oh, so for the Committee on Education, same resolution. Chair votes aye.
Chair votes aye on SCR 89. Vice Chair, any members on the Higher Education Committee voting with reservations? Any member voting negative? If not, all members present voting aye, your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. And that concludes this hearing. I have one more, right? Thank you for joining us. This is a 3:20 p.m. hearing on the Committee on Education, 3:20 p.m. Friday, March 19th, in room 229 to hear House Bill 613 relating to education, makes an emergency appropriation for fiscal year 2021 for elementary and secondary school emergency relief fund, ESSER funds, monies received by the state from the CARES Act. To testify, Brian Hallett from the Department of Education. Brian, please.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair Gadani, Vice Chair Kim. The department offers comments on this measure. You have them in writing, and we stand by if there are any questions.
Thank you. Next to testify, Mitzi Higa, Hawaii State Teachers Association.
Hi, aloha, Chair Kidani. Speaking for Corey Rosenlee, Hawaii State Teachers Association, we stand in strong support. As you know, there has been much delay and confusion from the Department of Education regarding the spending of CARES Act, ESSER funding, and even now going into the American Rescue Act, which we don't know how it's going to be spent yet. Thus, we support this measure because it will solidify retaining our teachers, which is the most important thing that our students need, along with the supports within the school and our district level who support our special ed students. We need all of these things, and we need to retain them first, as that is what is best to focus on student learning and achievement. Thank you.
Thank you. Next to testify, Sherry Nakamura, testifying for He'e Coalition.
Yes, aloha Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Mercado Kim, and members of the committee. Sherry Nakamura here from He'e Coalition. We would like to stand on our written testimony in support of HB 613 HD2 and offer a suggested amendment for your consideration. Thank you for this opportunity to testify.
Thank you, members. That concludes the oral testimony. We do have several written testimonies. Members, are there questions regarding to House Bill 613? If not, recess.
Hi, Madam Chair, we will now enter the breakout room.
Is the only Thank you. Welcome back to the Committee on Education, Friday, March 19th, 3:20, conference room 229. The chair is recommending that we pass House Bill 613 HD2 with amendments. We are adding to page 4, lines 15, 16 to read as follows: and who are employed at the school level in the classroom. We're adding the language in the classroom. And we also defecting the date to July 1st, 2051. Members, questions? If not, chair votes aye.
Chair votes aye on House Bill 613, passed with amendments. All members on the HRE committee, anyone voting in the negative? Anyone voting with reservations? Hearing none.
EDU committee.
I'm sorry, EDU committee.
What did you say?
Did I say Higher Education Committee? EDU committee. 5 members, all present, voting in the affirmative. Your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. That concludes this hearing. We have Thank you for joining us on the Committee on Education, Friday, March 19th, 3:21 p.m. agenda, conference room 229. First on the agenda is SCR 100 and SR 77, requesting the Department of Education to provide free menstrual products to students on all Hawaii public school campuses. To testify, Heidi Armstrong, Department of Education.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair Kidani and Vice Chair Kim. Heidi Armstrong from the Department of Education testifying on behalf of Superintendent Kishimoto. The department stands on its testimony for SCR 100. The intent of this resolution would absolutely support our students. However, to implement this proposal, additional funding would be required. We did a preliminary estimate for year 1 costs, which include the dispensers, receptacles, and supplies, and the estimated total for this would be $1.3 million. The recurring annual cost to provide free menstrual products is estimated at about $853,000 per year. The costs for replacing these pads every year was derived by using the total number of girls in grades 5 through 12, which is 52,643 in all schools. This includes the 5,902 girls in the charter schools and the 46,741 girls in grades 5 to 12 in our DOE schools. Estimating that they would use 2 pads per day, 5 days a month, 10 months a year, and estimating the cost of the pad at 14 cents a pad. That gave us our total of $853,000 for recurring costs. The department supports this effort and recognizes that logistics need to be addressed, but an appropriation would be necessary to make this a reality. And I thank you for this opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Assistant Superintendent Armstrong. Next, we have Courtney Hamakawa, Department of Education.
Hi, Madam Chair, she's not present.
Thank you. Next, Laverne Moore, testifying for HSTA.
Aloha Chairperson, speaking on behalf of Corey Rosenlee, President of the Hawaii State Teachers Association. We strongly support the resolution. It will move toward providing free feminine hygiene products in our secondary schools. What is happening is many of our students stay home because they cannot afford the sanitary pads. What this does is it brings gaps in their education. In order to better service our students, we need to provide the products they need in order to be successful in school. The HSTA strongly supports this resolution. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Laverne. Next, we have Nikos Leverens for Hawaii Health and Harm Reduction Center.
Hi, Madam Chair. She's not present.
Thank you. Next, we have Nikki Ann Yee for Ma'i Movement Hawaii.
Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Kim, and committee members. My sisters and I started Ma'i Movement Hawaii to end period poverty in the state. We strongly support the resolutions and stand by our testimony. We are Native Hawaiian, and we have seen and experienced firsthand the struggles that many locals face. When I was 12 growing up on Hawaiian homelands in Waimanalo, our mom died, leaving behind 5 children. My youngest sister ended up in foster care, and we lost touch. It breaks my heart to know that she was without our mom or us, and she did not have a safety net in the families she lived with or the schools that she went to, especially when it came to period care. Because of it, she missed school and her health and well-being suffered. We're finding out through our work it's still happening today. That's why we stand behind every menstruator, because no one deserves to feel any less or suffer unnecessarily because of their biology or family situation. Mahalo for all the work you do, and thank you again.
Thank you. Next to testify, Michelle Condry, an individual.
Hi, Madam Chair. She's not present.
Thank you. Jamie Kapana.
Hi, thank you. My name is Jamie and I support SCR 100 because I believe that period products should be free in all public schools. Students shouldn't have to worry about the shame of not being able to afford a basic necessity. I know that you don't know me or my story, but growing up, I had an unstable housing situation, which made it difficult to get something so basic, menstrual products. None of my schools had it and I couldn't ask anyone. We need to end the stigma and take care of our students. How can we do this? By offering these products to students for free. How amazing would it have been for schools to provide these products to students without the shame, so they feel safe, seen, and understood? Thank you for taking the time to hear my testimony.
Thank you, Jamie. Next, Sarah Milianta Laughlin.
Aloha, Chair. I'm going to yield my testimony to my Alima students. Go ahead and get it started, Alana. Nice and loud. Unmute.
Good afternoon. I am Alana Taylor from Alima Intermediate Activist Club. This is very important to me because children deserve equal education, but children and teens miss days at school because their families cannot afford these necessities. Lastly, I want to thank Senator Kidani for meeting with us on March 5th to talk about the issue.
Thank you. Ashanti, go.
Hello, my name is Ashanti Park, a student of the Lima Intermediate. First, I would like to thank Representative Caruso for helping us with our first bill last year and for helping with the resolution today. This particular topic today is important to me because having menstrual products close by will be helpful for people who got their period unexpectedly. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Go ahead, Rizal.
Let them finish the student.
Nice and loud, Riz.
Hello, I am Rizal Escoto, a 7th grader from Alima Intermediate's Activist Club. Pads should be a school supply because Band-Aids and pencils are like pads and are similar to each other. And I don't think that menstrual products are less useful than Band-Aids and pads.
Thank you, Riz. Go ahead, Bryce Lee.
Good afternoon, Chair Kidani. My name is Bryce Lee Rio. I am in 7th grade from Alima Intermediate, and I think men and boys should not be scared or avoid periods because it did not happen to them. And also, I would like to thank Senator Coggan for helping us with SB 9
6, although it didn't pass.
Thank you, Bryce Lee. Finish us. Go ahead, Aaliyah.
Hello, my name is Aaliyah Ioluolu. I am in 8th grade. Thank you, Chair, for having this. Providing free period supplies in schools will fight stigma. No one should be afraid of periods. It's natural.
Mahalo for your time. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Millie. Thank you, students. Aloha. Members, that is the end of our oral testimony, and we have at least 50 other written testimonies, all in support of this measure. Let's see. I have a question for Assistant Superintendent Heidi Armstrong, please.
Hi, Senator.
Hi, Heidi. You noted that it would cost $1.3 million the first year because you need dispensers. And I'm
Correct.
assuming you're going to put these dispensers in restrooms?
Yes, and so for that estimate, we didn't include every single girl or gender neutral restroom in grades 5 through 12. What we did is we averaged it that there would be we calculated on 10 restrooms in each of our 33 high schools, 5 restrooms in each of our 45 middle schools, intermediate schools, and then 1 restroom in our elementary school, being that usually if it's a 5th grade or a 6th grade, usually there's a girls' restroom on that wing. It wouldn't be necessary in all of the restrooms in the school. So that doesn't cover all of the restrooms, but just the numbers that I shared.
Heidi, I know in the past that some of the schools may have had these dispensers, and in time they're either broken or they're not filled, etc. So I'm not really sure that there's a need for dispensers and why they couldn't be just left at the health room, or maybe every building could have a teacher who had a supply, or etc. So I'm not sure about the cost of that. And then you said $855,000 per year thereafter. Anyway, I would rethink the dispenser thing. And the other thing is, for Title I schools, is this something that the Title I monies could be spent on?
We know that I checked with the McKinney-Vento funding, and McKinney-Vento funding for our students in unstable housing can be used to help purchase these products for those students. Our Title I funds, in addition, right now, as we look at our Title I budgets and allocations, they're expended. They're spent on the academics and the tutoring and the supports for that. So they haven't, this cost hasn't been included in that. And with the funding now, that funding has been exhausted from the academic and the social arena. I want to go back to the dispensers. I agree, dispensers, we put the dispensers in because of what we've heard from the girls, that privacy is very important, and so dispensers in a restroom do allow for that privacy. They don't have to walk to the health room or another location to get their pad. However, that is an option if the whole ideal situation cannot, be funded. There are logistics involved in this, especially with dispensers in a restroom, and if they're dispensing free products, the management of that, as well as possibly one taking more than what is necessary for their needs at that moment, could be an issue as well.
I'm assuming, since many teachers and the HSTA supported this resolution, that teachers would not be, would be willing to also dispense from their classrooms when, for needed menstrual products. So again, I'm not really sure about the dispenser, and I think we should rethink that, and at least try maybe with the health room and the teachers for now, or at least 1 or 2 teachers per building. would be my suggestion. Also, I think that some of the state agencies could help, whether it's Department of Health or Department of Human Services, because they do have these kinds of agencies that have some of these products for other programs. So if you could also look into that. Members, are there any other questions?
I wanted to follow up, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
So Heidi, so you didn't look at what the cost might be without the dispensers and using some other way, other method of providing the needed supplies?
No, we did. That was the second number that I gave, the 853,000. That cost was based on the 52,643 girls that we have in grades 5 through 12 with the 2 pads per day, 5 days.
Right, but that's with the dispensers though, right?
No, that was,
that's not
the 853,000 was just the pads.
Oh, that's just the, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you were going to put those into the dispensers though, right?
The 1.3 million was the initial startup cost.
Right.
If dispensers were a part of the equation. If they're not, and the recurring cost just for the pads every year would be estimated at 853,000. And
Okay.
that could always be adjusted after the first year when we actually know
Okay.
what the usage is.
So the 1.3 million didn't really account for the breakdown of the dispensers, the people it would take to constantly replenish, and all of that.
The 1.3 million included the dispensers, the receptacles, and the pads for the first
Right,
year.
but there's got to be maintained and it's got to be repaired. And students, and not just students, anybody, I mean, we've seen these in public restrooms where you put in a quarter or whatever, or some of them are free, like if you travel airlines, you know, some of them have free ones, but people break them anyway.
Right.
So, you know, that's an issue, and so the cost to maintain it and keep it working, and then keeping it full, or, you know, I know of been in a situation where even when you pay it, it runs out. And when you need it the most, you can't get it because somebody didn't fill it up. So these are all the things that I hope the DOE, or I'm sorry, the schools would look at as to how logistical it would work. Because this is a lot of money, and if the legislature don't provide it and you are required to do it, where would it come out of?
That is an unanswered question at this time. I do know that the support that we can, that is available, it is for a limited number of students, would be our students who qualify under McKinney-Vento, because providing pads for those students who need that is an allowable allowable use for that funding.
Okay, and then, you know, to say that they're only allowed two a day, some women and some girls may need more. Some may be, I don't know, take it home to their families. So, I mean, you know, it's a matter of how do you manage it as well, because, you know, again, that's cost coming out from somewhere. And don't get me wrong, I support this measure, especially as a woman, you support it. But there's all these other logistics and costs, and, you know, how do you manage it?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, members. Further questions on this measure? If not, let's move on to Senate Concurrent Resolution 203 and Senate Resolution 168, urging the Board of Education to form a special committee or permitted interaction group to monitor and account for how the Department of Education is spending its federal relief funds. And to testify, Laverne Moore, HSTA.
Oh, Laverne Moore. Okay, speaking on, oh, sugars, here we go. Okay, speaking on behalf of Corey Rosenlin, President of the Hawaii State Teachers Association. We strongly support this resolution. It will make it clear on how the DOE is truly spending the federal funds. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Laverne. Next, Sherry Nakamura, He'e Coalition.
Yes, aloha Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Mercado Kim, and members of the committee. Sherry Nakamura, Director of He'e Coalition. We are testifying in support of SCR 203 and 168. We support the DOE forming a permitted interaction group to monitor and account for how the DOE is spending its federal relief funds. While the DOE has a Finance and Infrastructure Committee, which looks at policies regarding financial operations, we feel that an investigative group made up of the chair and committee chairs would be appropriate since the federal monies can be used broadly across the system. We would like to encourage that the DOE create a strategic and systematic guidance for these funds, particularly because they are one-time funds that we want to use effectively. We provide some suggestions in our written testimonies, like creating a near, mid, and long-term framework for the usage of funds. Also, if the BOE should need additional staff to conduct strategic analysis, perhaps it could consider using some of the federal funds for this purpose. Thank you for this opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Sherry. Members, questions? If not, moving on to the next measure. Senate Concurrent Resolution 249 and Senate Resolution 208 requesting the Board of Education to authorize an esports program for public high schools in the state. Let's see, to testify. No one on the list to testify. Is that correct? All right. Do we need to go into?
Nope.
Okay, I think we're ready to decision make. Members, the chair is recommending that we pass out Senate Concurrent Resolution 100 and Senate Resolution 77, requesting the Department of Education to provide free menstrual products to students of all Hawaii public school campuses. I think in the committee report, so we're going to pass as is, but in the committee report, I think we're going to note that we'd like to recommend that we start right away, that the Department of Education not dispense with dispensers for now and try it using the health room and maybe female teachers in the schools. And also to consider using federal funds for the Title I schools, as well as seek advice from other state agencies who may already be providing these products through different programs. Again, recommendation is to pass as is. Chair votes aye.
Okay, chair votes aye on Senate Resolution 77 and Senate Concurrent Resolution 100 to pass as is. All members are still present. Any members voting with reservations? Any members voting no? All 5 members voting in the affirmative. Recommendations adopted.
Thank you. Recommendation for Senate Concurrent Resolution 203 and Senate Resolution 168, urging the Board of Education to form a special committee or permitted interaction group to monitor and account for how the Department of Education is spending its federal funds. Recommendation is to pass as is, and we'll note in the committee report, the board should also consider utilizing the committee or permitted interaction group to create short, medium, and long-term strategic plans for the use of federal relief funds to ensure that the DOE maximizes the use of these funds. Again, chair votes aye.
Chair votes aye on Senate Concurrent Resolution 203 and Senate Resolution 168. Pass as is. Any members voting with reservation? Any members voting no? Hearing none, all 5 members in the affirmative. Recommendations adopted.
Thank you. And for the final item, Senate Concurrent Resolution 249 and Senate Resolution 208, requesting the Board of Education to authorize an esports program for public high schools in the state. Recommendation of the chair is to pass as is. Chair votes aye.
Chair votes aye on Senate Concurrent Resolution 249 and Senate Resolution 208. Any members voting with reservations? Any members voting no? Hearing none, all 5 members in affirmative. Recommendations adopted.
Thank you very much, members. Have a great weekend.
It's Aloha Friday, everybody. Aloha.